Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great, safe, and blessed week. So, this week's reflection is coming to you from Cape Town, South Africa. Over the past few days, I've had the incredible privilege of being here as a keynote speaker at the 14th SIOSH Health and Safety Conference. So before anything else, I simply want to say a big thank you to Niels, his family, the entire team at SIOSH, and everybody who worked behind the scene to create such a beautiful space where practitioners and professionals from across Africa and South Africa could come together to learn and grow and connect with each other. Also, a special thank you to my brother Yassine for helping make this opportunity possible. I also like to thank the incredible staff at Century City Conference Center and Hotel, the people who welcomed us each morning, prepared the rooms, served the meals, and quietly kept everything behind the scene running. Your kindness, hospitality, and professionalism really helped create this environment where conversations could happen, relationships could grow, and learning could flourish. So thank you for taking such good care of us throughout the week. Being here has left me deeply encouraged by the passion I witnessed, encouraged by the openness to learn, encouraged by the conversations that continued long after the presentations has ended. Now, what stayed with me mostly wasn't standing on the stage, even though that was incredible experience, but it was what happened after I stepped off the stage. The conversations, the kindness of people who took the time to come introduce themselves to me, to share a bit of their experience, those who encouraged me and spoke so much life into me, and those who shared a piece of their story and journey with me. To everybody who came up to talk to me after, I just want to say thank you so much, and I'm deeply honored by that. These conversations reminded me that learning rarely happens from one person speaking. It happens in the space that we create so we can all learn together. And I generally look forward to continue to learn from and collaborate with professionals, especially the safety community across Africa in the years ahead. But during my keynote talk, I shared a story from my childhood in Ghana that has quietly shaped how I see and treat people.
When we receive visitors, my dad asked a question that took me a lifetime to understand. This is me, by the way. I still remember this day. Young Charles, who knew I'd be standing here today. Yeah. This is awesome. My dad would ask the visitors in our local Ewe language, Aleke womozozono. This is a word that literally translates to, how was your journey? Now, the interesting thing about this question is, it did not require a simple answer, like the journey was good, everything was fine. No, this question here required a story. Now, I remember vividly that the visitor will give us a contextual idea of their journey. They'll talk of when they woke up, what they ate, the people they met on the road. When they got to the bus stop, the bus was late, the bus conductor was stinky, the arguments that happened on the bus. I mean, all these detailed stories about their journey. And I, as a child, sitting there, fascinated that here I am welcoming a visitor, but I get to understand their entire journey. Profound. Now, I remember asking my dad a few years after this, that Dad, why do you always ask this question? And my dad, in his calm, proverbial way, said something that took me a lifetime to understand. He said, Charles, until a lion tells its story, every story glorifies the hunter. I'll let that sink in for a second. Until the lion tells its story, every story glorifies the hunter.
Now, that story has stayed with me ever since. When I was younger, I thought my dad's question, how was your journey, was simply a polite way of welcoming someone into our home. But today, I hear it differently. It wasn't really about the journey. It was about the space that he created. The space before assumptions. The space before advice. The space before judgment. Space for someone to tell the story that belongs to them. And that is why the proverb I shared during the keynote continued to stay with me and shape my work. Until the lion tells a story, every story glorifies the hunter. And the older I get, the more I realize that we all move between those two roles, the lion and the tiger. Sometimes we are the hunter, confident that we already understand or know or have all the answers. Sometimes we are the lion, hoping that somebody would take the time to understand our experiences before drawing conclusions. Whether it is in our families, whether it's in our friendships, or even our workplace, learning begins when we create space for the lion to tell its story. Looking back, I don't think my dad realized at that time he was shaping the way I would one day see the world or people. Now, whether I'm walking the streets with my camera doing street photography or engaging with employees, leaders, and teams in the workplace, all that I'm doing is creating space. The space where people feel seen. The space where different perspectives can be shared. A space where we slow down enough to realize there is always more to someone's story than what we first see. The camera simply gave me a reason to enter that space, to meet strangers, to ask better questions, and to be reminded that every person carries a journey we know very little about. I think that is true in safety as well. We often talk about learning from events, but perhaps learning begins even way earlier before an event happens. It begins when we create the conditions where people feel safe enough to say that this is what I experienced. This is what made sense to me. This is what you couldn't see, because in that space, that is where true understanding begins and grows. And that, to me, is a space where relationships even deepen. That is a space that we begin to learn. So this week, I'd like to leave you with one question. Who is the lion in your life right now? And what might you learn about them, about yourself, or even about the systems we live and work within, if we intentionally create a space, a little space for their story? Let's have a safe, blessed week. As always, let's be super kind to ourselves and our humanity. Let's create space for our humanity. And more importantly, let's make and create space for the humanity of others. And always remember, there is more to the story. Once again, I want to say a big thank you to the Paajoe family, and a big thank you to Cape Town in South Africa itself. So far, I've been here for 4 days, and I love the energy. I love the people. I love the kindness. I love the openness of everybody I've come across. I've had a chance to do a whole lot of street photography, and I've had the privilege of meeting people. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Let's have a safe, blessed week. Peace.